Drone here, being notified recently that they're covering up Graffiti Highway. I decided to take a look off to the right. You can see three state patrol vehicles, two that were undercover, and there was actually another one that you couldn't see here. Off to the right here, you're going to see the main way we used to get in is now wide open for trucks to get in. So this beautiful highway that we used to go to for activities, I decided to take to the skies and give you a little look at what's going on. It is actively being worked on. It is like you'll see a truck coming back from dumping. You'll see trucks on the ground moving, and all those, you can see the split in the highway there. All those little spots, which we will fly over, are mounds of dirt, and ironically they look very much like body bags from the sky. And essentially, I guess that's what it is for the highway. It's going to be what covers the highway and no longer shows it. You can see a vehicle moving down there. You'll see another dump coming. Why am I doing a video on this? Well, I'm fairly local to this area. It doesn't take long for me to get here. This was also a pastime for me and my family, summer or winter. I've been out on this road there. You can see a dump truck that just offloaded that's moving out. I came out here with my family as an activity. I know there's a lot of non-locals that have come to this spot, and I understand why non-locals would come to this spot. It's interesting. It's kind of like a lawless land where you're on this abandoned highway. You could spray paint, you could do what you want, and unfortunately, I think due to the high influx of people rushing here due to the recent things going on with the world, when you're supposed to be at home and bam, everybody rushes here, it's being shut down. And we'll do a flyover of those mounds of dirt there. For people that aren't local to the area, this is what Centralia is. This is what it was. It was a highway. It was an abandoned highway. Little do they know any part of the history of this place. That's why I created the group on Facebook, which will be linked down below. It was a huge part of history in the local area, in the local mining area. And it's not just this road. I will fly over the town, the abandoned town, the ghost town, which you'll be able to see clearly where houses used to be. A lot of people would come from New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, other states even, just to check this out. And again, what looks like body bags on the ground is mounds of dirt. That's, again, it's so symbolic that that's what it resembles in the sky. Because that is that dirt is going to be this road's body bag. It's going to be what covers it up and essentially kills this road. But Centralia is not just this road. Centralia is so much more than this road. The history of Centralia, if you're watching this, I urge you to get on Google, learn a little bit. It's definitely worth still coming to, I think. If you're not just in it to spray paint a road and leave your trash all over the place. If you're not just in it to come out of state with your 4x4 vehicle, run up and down the road and endanger people that were walking up and down. I'm not saying everybody that came from out of state was bad or anything, or everybody that came from the Philadelphia area was bad. I'm not saying that, but there was a high influx of people that had no knowledge about this area, had no knowledge about the town, no knowledge about what went on and why that section of the road is abandoned, why there's only a few houses left in this town. We're going to go ahead and fly over the town here, and you should be able to see really clearly grids. You'll see grids of the former town, and what you won't see is houses. A little bit of information: the government wanted everybody out. I'm not going to say supposedly. There's two different sides of the story. One side says that a mine cavity caught on fire, and that's why they wanted to evacuate. The other side of the story says the government wanted to take this over, or a corporation wanted to take this over to mine all the coal, the millions of dollars worth of coal that's underneath here. As you see the streets, I mean, we'll fly back and I'll actually point the camera down a little bit more, but look at the grids. Look at the grids. You see a house off to the left. Do you see any other houses in these grids? No, you don't. And these were house plots. People would have had their houses. You can drive down these streets. At the end of the video, I'll show you what I enjoyed doing coming to Centralia, actually trying to find the history, finding staircases that lead to nowhere. There's fire hydrants displaced all around this town with no buildings nearby. It's really eerie feeling to be able to find the remnants of what this town was, because it wasn't just a road. That's a terrible misconception that a lot of people that come here that just want to spray paint on a road. I mean, my goodness, there's roads everywhere. Go spray paint on a road. I'm not condoning doing so, but if that's the only reason that you ever came to Centralia was to spray paint on a road, it's a little bit silly, don't you think? Driving from New York, driving from New Jersey, driving from Philly, driving from other places with your spray cans in hand to spray paint on a road, when there's more to this town than that road. We're flying towards a church. To my knowledge, this is still an active church. And unfortunately, people have broke into it thinking, hey, Centralia's been, and there, look, we found a church. Look at the church we found. Let's break into it. That's not the case. This is a really nice church, and again, to my knowledge, is still running. It still has people coming to it. But unfortunately, due to the lack of knowledge and due to the ignorance of people coming here that are not local, they perceived, hey, look what we found on top of the hill. A beautiful church, let's break into it. It's a little bit discouraging for me that this is happening to the road. It's not the end of my world. It's not the end of locals' worlds. Because, like I'll show you at the end of the video with some images, there's a lot more to this town if you dig deeper. If you actually want to be a part of this ghost town, if you want to learn the history of this ghost town. Look, this is a better shot of those grids. Look at all the grids. Look at all the empty grids. All those empty squares is where houses were, and you can see one house off to the right. There's no more houses in these grids. You can find staircases in these grids. You can find foundation in these grids. You can find old fence posts in these grids. There is stuff to find in this town if that's your thing. But again, if your thing was, let's go to Pennsylvania to spray paint on a road, it's a little bit silly, no? It's a little bit mindless, no? I mean, I'm sure if you really wanted to do that, I'm sure you know a desolate road near you. There, you can see one of the houses that are lived in down there. And that's another thing. There are reports of people trying to break into the houses that are still here. The houses that are still here are lived in. Anytime a family completely dies out, they can't sell, their lineage cannot sell the house. Government comes in and bulldozes the houses. That's why you don't see houses in these grids. There, off to the left on that corner, you can see a defined path of a sidewalk. Somebody noted, and somebody had stated in the group, the Centralia group, which again will be linked down below, you guys act like your dog got ran over. What's the point? You never owned it. No, we never owned this area. But anybody that's into history, anybody that's into coal mining history, anybody that's local, this holds a place in our hearts. This was an activity. This was something to go to. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, smash the subscribe button. This is the last hurrah for this place.